Hello, and welcome to a new kind of weird thing of semi-secret videos called Frightmares After Hours, where I'm going to be playing some games that may not exactly be suitable to stream on Twitch, but I'm still interested in playing them and sharing the experience, so yeah, we're doing it kind of in a roundabout fashion in another means via, I don't know, maybe YouTube. I'm not sure. Maybe Vimeo, maybe YouTube. Not sure where these are gonna go. But yeah, so this is the first time I'm doing this. This is why I'm stuttering over everything, because I have no idea what I'm doing or how these are gonna go. But this is Cupid, a visual novel. It is free on Steam. It apparently has horror themes, and apparently it is somewhat sexually graphic. So let's get into this and see what all it has to do. See, it's got mature filter on, mature filter off. Now we're mature filtering it off. Hell yeah. Okay. I think we've done it. Start. Playing as an adult. I love you. I love you, I love you. I love you. There's no need to explain, it's only natural. A mother loves her daughter more than anything else in the world. He hates you, doesn't he? A whole lot of them despise you, don't they? Chasing you into the forest and gouging a hole into your leg. Excuse me? What the fuck is... We now bring you back to this story already in progress, apparently. All because you smiled at their husbands. And you know what? You deserve it. You freak. Damn. You disgusting, horrible, filthy little girl. Holy shit. Didn't I tell you to stay away from them? You never listen. Serves you right for being the little slut you are. Oh shit. Who are you? Who am I? What's going on? But you don't have to worry, my darling. It's alright. Even if the whole world wishes you dead, I promise you this. Your mother will always be by your side. Wait, are you my mother? You sound kinda like a bitch. Priest. My goodness, child, whatever has happened to you? Well, she's not looking too great. A girl was slumped in the doorway, soaked by the rain. Her legs were covered in dirt and blood. She lifted her head upon hearing the priest's voice and stared at him with blank eyes. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. She hobbled forwards, her bloodied leg giving way. Automatically, the priest rushed forward to steady her. Years of spiritual training had prepared him for the most unexpected guests to his church. He sprung into action. He ushered her to a pew, brought out some clean cloth and antiseptic, and began to bandage the wound on her leg. Yet throughout all this, he found that he couldn't take his eyes off her. He would be gazing at the roll of bandages in his hand, deciding how to tie them, and then out of nowhere he would be staring into her eyes. Even with all the mud and grime smeared across her face, he couldn't deny that she was absolutely beautiful. How old was she? 20? 18? 16? I don't like the way these numbers are going. It's just like 20, 18, alright, 16, okay, I'm getting nervous. Her face was so young. The priest had long since aged past his desire for the opposite sex, but somehow, something about her enraptured him. When he realized his own thoughts, he quickly steered his mind towards other matters. So how about them Yankees, my child? Or rather, my child, what happened to you? She seemed to take all the time in the world before responding. He looked at me. Looked? He looked at me and he touched me. Whoa. And then he started to kiss me. Uh-oh. At first the priest didn't understand. Then he realized with a jolt of anger what she meant. Yeah, it was happening more and more often nowadays. The young men of France these days were spirited, uncontrollable ruffians. Yeah, or dirtbags, either way. A lady walking home by herself one night would be prey to a few number of them. Lust. One of the 7 deadly sins, the one that the priest personally despised the most. Furrowing his brow in sorrow, the priest laid a hand on her thigh. So don't do that, dude. You are safe now, child. God's house is a sanctuary for the faithful. I don't think he'll protect me. He looked at her in confusion. You see, Father, I have sinned again. Right there, among the pews before the altar of God, she bowed her head. I'm sorry. Was she apologizing to him or to someone else? Her hair hid her face and her eyes, and the priest could make neither head nor tail of her. He suddenly realized that his hand was still on her thigh, and he hurriedly drew it away. I'm sorry. She repeated this phrase over and over. After a while, the priest got up. Don't fret, child, you are not to blame. I will contact the local constable, but in the meantime, you are free to make yourself at home here. I will fetch you a hot drink. He patted her hand and left to go to the back room. She remained seated on the pew, her head bent forward. As the priest's footsteps faded away, the entire church fell into silence. And then she turned into a demon and ate his face. Wait, what are we doing? Oh. Now that it was the dead of night, the clouds covered the sky. Barely a sliver of moonlight filtered through the stained glass. The girl sat alone in a ring of darkness. Several dots. She opened her mouth. No, I know. If I may say my piece, surely. Several more dots. Yes, yes, mother. She's got all not Patrick Bateman, fucking Norman Bates. But he is so very kind. Haven't you learned your lesson, idiot? I fear for your safety. Oh, we got choices. I mean, let's be incredibly mean. Haven't you learned your lesson, idiot? You truly are an idiot. Haven't you learned your lesson? You were injured because of your own doing, and you dare tempt fate again? I'm sorry, mother. I just thought it better to eat and sleep first before I left. Please don't be angry. Angry start. Achievement unlocked. Then stop your disobedience. I only want you to be safe, dearest. No. It's full-on aggro mode. Stop your disobedience. If you do not want me to be angry, then don't give me a reason to be. Haven't I told you time and again that the world is full of beasts? If only you were not like this. You saw the way that priest looked at you, didn't you? And still you insist on staying. Where is your head? I understand. I shall leave at once. How am I going to mind you like this? You attract so much misfortune everywhere you go. Yeah, full aggro mode across the board. This is all your fault. Just be an absolute bastard. Why not? Why must you be like this? You're a blight to my heart. I'm sorry. It's all my fault. The girl sat in silence. Mother was right after all. She was always right. Everything was her fault. Her fist shook with a mixture of fear and conviction. She had to do penance. Mother, give me strength. There is something I wish to do. The girl rose from the pew. In front of her was the altar, and on top of the altar was an ornately decorated cross. It was as wide as her head, and the tip of the cross had been crafted such that it was razor sharp. Uh-oh. She left the pew, knelt briefly, and then walked over to the altar. Don't tell me. You're quite sure you're doing this? The girl's arm trembled ever so slightly. What other way is there for me to atone? She picked up the cross. Oh, my darling daughter. Mother is proud of you. Slowly, she brought the sharp end close to her face. So close that it hovered just above her left eye. Oh, shit. And then she... Oh! Chapter 1? That was just the prologue? Oh shit, the star and the rose, okay. Oh, she's back. I guess she plucked out her eye. That's what I'm getting from this. Okay. Scruffy young girl in tattered clothes peeked through the open gates of Chateau du Sommeil. An afternoon goiter was being held in its gardens. People from high-class estates strolled around the manicured gardens while chatting loudly with one another. There were beautiful ladies clad in silk and velvet, their necks adorned with pearls and jewels. A variety of foods was displayed on the tables. The girl stared at the food. She hadn't eaten properly for the past few days. Are you hungry, child? Are you hungry, my dear? Yes, mother. Don't you worry. Mother will provide. Rose girl? I guess it's her. You do not need those high-class foods anyway. They will upset your stomach. Now we've stayed long enough. Let us leave. So surely we can look around for a bit. It's still a little early. There was something else that called to her other than the party itself. She walked to and fro from the gates, peeking at the crowd despite the urgings of her mother to leave. Just a tiny glance would be enough. The girl smiled at the thought of him. The owner of the chateau, the Marquis de Goulle. The girl was drawn to him. He wasn't the same as other people. He seemed different somehow. He was kind to her and would always hand her food when she delivered flowers. Her heart felt at ease with him. He is the same as everyone. I do not care for... Let's keep going, just choice one. He is the same as everyone. Greedy. Insatiable. Maybe not for you. But for something else. But he is a kind man, mother. Don't let his kindness fool you. Sweetest tongue hides sharpest tooth, child. She bit her lip. Why do you even bother with him? Cynical mother. Okay. He makes me feel that there are still good people in the world, mother. There are no more good people in the world, child. It is hard to say. Nah. Stay cynical. There are no more good people in the world, child. The world has run out of them. All that is left are manipulative souls who appear kind on the outside, because they need other people to survive. Ultimately, they only care for themselves. Don't you think I'm a good person, mother? Oh, if we're going... Of course I do, of course not. I'm trying to decide between just sticking with the top choice across the board, or sticking with the mother being an absolute bitch. Stick with being an absolute bitch. Humans are intrinsically selfish, including you. Why do you think I take great pains to keep you out of trouble? It's because you are like this little monster. I'm sorry, mother. If I have ever caused you any pain, please forgive me. The girl stared at her shoes and looked around for a bit, hoping for just a glance before she left. And there he was. There was no harm in looking, she reasoned. She would never enter the Marquis's world. Let her heart be filled with hope. He turned his eyes in her direction. Did he smile at her? The girl's heart stopped, and then she fell over dead, 'cause that's a heart attack. Did he recognize her? She beamed. Court Lady 1. My, is this creature deaf as well as dumb? It might be, poor thing. Mademoiselle? A voice called to the Rose Girl. She gasped. It seemed that somebody else had noticed her presence. She turned to leave. No, no, my dear, poor little creature, don't run away. Charlotte, she stinks, don't touch her. Came to crash the party, little urchin, you hungry? Her stomach gave a low grumble. Yes, I am. She was always hungry, it seemed, no matter how much or how little she ate. Encouraged by the kindness the Marquis had shown her, the girl approached the women. She teetered towards their table. What are you selling? Look at this poor creature. Is she selling roses? These are all ugly ones. But not as appalling as the rags she is covering herself in. Are you trying your best to be this repulsive? Now, don't be mean, Antoinette. Yeah, you get your head chopped off for that shit. Perhaps it's the commoner fashion nowadays. They laughed while gawking at her and her wares. Oh my, she only has one eye. Ghastly, but I can't look away. The other lady nodded her head. Like a sideshow attraction, you mean? The freaks at the carnivals. She's darling in her own dirty, monstrous way. Maybe we can keep it. Hello, do you want some bread, urchin? Wow. These bitches are bitches. Well, speak up. Maybe her tongue is short. Add that to the list of her sterling qualities. Quiet, Antoinette. Seriously, you're about to get decapitated in like 2 seconds. You keep that shit up. Come on, don't be shy. Do you want some food? Let us hear you speak. Yes, madame. What? Yes, madame, I would be grateful. One of the ladies clapped in mockery at her reply. Oh, she talks. The ladies handed her the bread, but it was snatched away just before her fingers grazed it. Not before you dance for us first. Oh, make her do a handstand. I've seen one of those street people do that. Quite marvelous. Now I'd like to see that. This party is getting quite boring. Well, come on, bete? Bete? I don't know French. Dance for your food. The girl looked at the beautiful, cruel faces of the women. That look on them. It was a burning desire to hurt something, simply because they could. She knew that look. Before they touched her and hurt her, they had that look burning in their eyes. Oh, look at what you did, Claudette. She's shivering like a leaf, poor thing. The lady was laughing as she said those words. I didn't do anything. She should be grateful we're even offering her this much. Besides, these commoners are supposed to be jolly in their misery. Come on, girl, show us your joy. The girl moved away as they laughed. Mother, please save me. Mother! Didn't I tell you to leave? Didn't I tell you people are cruel? Yeah, didn't I tell you to leave? Didn't I tell you to leave, insolent child? Now you call for me? Try to deal with this situation yourself. You have put yourself in this position anyway. I hope you learn your lesson. Hey there. A child's voice called out from behind her. It belonged to a girl around 7 with chubby cheeks and a look of curiosity in her eyes. She wore an old blue dress, somewhat patched at the corners but kept clean and tidy. She was not rich, but she had an air as if she owned the ground she stood on. Another commoner? This party is absolutely teeming with them. The Marquis loves these things. Heard he picks them randomly from the street. Maybe I should get me one, too. Do you think it is fashionable abroad, in his birth country, I mean? Persia? No, I heard he was from India. I heard a rumor he's a bastard son of a Greek queen. Goodness, that is so far-fetched. I could barely pronounce his name, though. He really should change it to something more acceptable. Who knows what kind of demons he might attract with such a blasphemous name. Aha! It must be why all these nasty, horrid little creatures flock around him. Oh! Devil or not, I'll forgive him if he kisses my hand. The ladies laughed. Salope, aren't you shameless? Don't lie, we all know why we're here. The ladies gossiped among themselves, openly ignoring the girl. The young girl took the slighting with a shrug. She approached the table and asserted her presence. What you doing? Goodness, they don't take a hint, do they? Throw something shiny, it might distract them. Hey, you've been holding that bread for a long time. Aren't you gonna give it to her? She pointed at the shabby rose vendor. Why do you care? Do you want the bread for yourself? I bet she's hungry too. I know, maybe you should toss the bread and see if they'll fight for it. The ladies laughed to themselves. The girl stared at them with confusion. Her brows furrowed in a childlike understanding. Whoa! Next thing everyone knew, she had swiped the bread from the woman's hand. Oh my! How rude! Horrible, filthy girl, give that back! The girl sniffed the piece of bread and nibbled at the surface. Yummy. It's still warm. She shoved the bread in the urchin's face. The scrumptious scent of bread flooded the rose girl's nose. Lick it. The sugared butter tastes good. No, you devil child, give that back. The urchin licked it. Her tongue was coated in sweetness. She stood there, squeezing the taste in her tongue. The girl grinned at her, and she couldn't help but grin back. Sorry, here you go. It's all yours. Ugh, disgusting. Like we're going to eat anything that's been in your filthy mouths. Wow, so this is ours now? You ladies are so nice. Cheeky little brat. I'll have you thrown out of this party. I'll have you. Oh, hello. A young man strode to the commotion. A sweet scent lingered as he passed. The rose girl felt her mouth well up. His presence filled her body, almost as if her hunger was abated. She blushed furiously. What a strange effect he had. Ladies. Oh, Sire Galeme? I just came to check in on my esteemed guests. Is everything all right? Are you enjoying yourselves? One of the ladies started fanning herself with obvious annoyance. Well, these little beasts have been harassing us. Yes, my lord. We were just minding our own business when this girl swiped the food off our table. Horrible little nits. The girl stuck out her tongue at them. A lady wiped her eyes in mock tears. See, look at that. It's absolutely monstrous how these children act around adults now. There is no respect, messire. I don't speak French. Sorry, I worry for the next generation. Oh, Charlotte, don't cry. Well, my lord, we would all breathe a little easier if those children were sent on their way. Yes, who knows what kind of mischief they might be up to. They might set fire to the tables, you see. Oh. Or steal our jewelry. In fact, I think my pocket watch is missing. No, how unfortunate. One of the ladies continued her childish wailing. It is, messire. It's unfortunate how you allow your important guests to be treated this way. Please deal with these vermins. Throw them out now. Oh, my sweet ladies, I am stricken with grief at your misfortunes. Allow me to offer my heartfelt apologies. Unfortunately, this child is my important guest today, and you are, sad to say, paltry squatters. Excuse me? Madame Charlotte of Montpelier? I don't remember sending you an invite. Same for you, Lady Antoinette of Rennes, and Lady Claudette of Lyon. Most people I invited are huge patrons of music. That is why they are here today. They came to listen to Mademoiselle Catherine Louis Paride. She is the 7-year-old piano prodigy who played for the Queen last summer. The man pointed to the girl busy chewing her half of the bread. The rose girl just stared at the unfolding situation. Well, that's... I am sure you were aware of that, were you not? No matter. I am always happy to see you, ladies. It is my pleasure to have you here. But I hope you don't mind giving some of the food away to my townspeople. That is why I keep my gates open. My servers are instructed to serve anyone who passes by, not just my guests. But don't you fret, my darlings, there is plenty more to be served. The ladies blushed in embarrassment. One of them began to fan herself even faster. Excuse me. The Marquis walked up to the two girls. The Rose Girl's heart beat so fast it made her head feel light and dizzy. She had never been this close to him. It made her feel a mixture of fear and elation. Lady Catherine, your father has been looking for you. It is almost time for your performance. The girl looked up at the Marquis and did a little curtsy. My apologies, sire. I didn't mean to cause a clatter. Guillaume chuckled. I saw the whole thing, ma chérie. You put those ladies in their place. They were being mean to her. Guillaume narrowed his eyes at the quiet girl. She hid behind her basket of roses. She couldn't look at him directly. He was like the sun. It hurt just to be in his presence. Yet there was relief in her heart as he stepped closer to her. I've seen you before, haven't I? The Rose Girl nodded and made a curtsy. I deliver roses to your house sometimes, sire. Yes, the girl with the sweetest face. And the cyclopean gaze. The Rose Girl blushed. I love your roses, by the way. They stay fresh longer than they should. You've tended to them with love. Thank you, sire. Do you have a name, young lady? What's the matter? It is all right, young lady, if you would rather. Let's call her Rosa! Rosa, it fits her. I think she forgot her name, or she lost it. The Marquis nodded wisely. A valid point. Are you all right with that, Rosa? Yes. Come on, Rosa. You'll watch me play, right? Aye. Her eyes darted from the girl to the Marquis. Oh, Sir Gilly doesn't mind. Gilly? He's really nice to me and my family. And he helps the people around town, too. He won't throw you out. The Marquis held his right hand in the air as if swearing an oath. I won't. See? Come on, you're invited now. You're my special guest. There's plenty of food inside, too, Rosa. Please, help yourself. Thank you, sire. Rosa is coming. Yay! Phrasing? Are we not doing phrasing anymore? Alright. Now, this is my first public performance, Rosa. I am a bit nervous. Catherine scratched her head. What will I do if I make a mistake? Papa will be very upset. The Marquis knelt in front of Catherine and rubbed her shoulders fondly. Marquis, she's like 7. Back off, dude. You won't make a mistake, ma chérie. As long as you put your heart into the keys. Literally. Like, rip your heart out of your chest and jam it into the piano. Play to touch your audience, and any mistake won't matter. Do you understand? Catherine stared at the Marquis. Not really. The man chuckled. You will someday. Just play your first song with me in your mind, will you? Something that you think will make me smile. Guillaume held Catherine's clear young eyes in his gaze. He kissed her hand. It was covered with sticky sugar and breadcrumbs. Catherine blushed. It was the first time she looked embarrassed by anything. It would be my pleasure, sir. Catherine trudged up the wooden podium and walked towards the middle of the stage. The crowd's chatter died down. She curtsied. Oh God, that's very loud. She curtsied in front of her audience, waved to her father, and stole a glance at Guillaume. The man gave her a tiny nod. She sat down in front of the piano, admiring the cream and ebony keys underneath her fingers. Her own piano was broken and beaten. Her father had sold his horse for it. The A3 key never played, and the strings would creak when it was cold. But it had never failed her. She knew the keys like they were her own fingers. She whispered to the new piano softly, as if coaxing a beautiful, untamed animal. "Let's be friends, okay?" She saw Rosa at the far end of the podium, watching her diligently. There was a renewed vigor in her blood. She could hear the keys calling out to her. A song that would make him smile. She placed her fingers on the keys. She began to play. There she goes. Playing that piano. I'm wondering if we have to listen to the whole song or if we click through it. Doesn't appear to be looping, so. Although listening to it completely might be optional. Let's try clicking. Oh. At the ring of the first few notes, it became apparent to the audience that this girl was something special. Here was a little girl, barely tall enough to reach the pedals of the piano, playing as if she owned it. There were times she'd miss a note or two, but that didn't matter. She played the song to make someone smile, and it touched everyone present. Her musical skill was far beyond her years. Her fingers caressed the keys as if she was making a flower crown, carefully weaving the petals. She knew the correct way to tie the leaves so they wouldn't tear, like all smart little girls did. As the piano sang under her hands, Catherine seemed to disappear right in front of the audience's eyes. She was just a vision, after all, somebody leading them down a dream. A dream of a garden, the springtime, the shade of a tree on a windy day. The couples in the audience tightened their grip on the hands of their partners. Some closed their eyes and let the music saturate their soul. Sweet memories of youth. A first love. The yawn of a newborn. Rosa's eyes shone as she stared at Catherine. Her heart was captured by this image of her. A young girl swaying her head to the music, smiling as the notes poured out of her. She couldn't take her eye away from Catherine's glowing face. Was this happiness? Was this love? She looked like she was in love. And she was, wasn't she? In her innocence, she was still in love with life. In love with her family, with her pets, in love with every new discovery. She was full of hope. It was a bittersweet feeling for Rosa, whose mother was an absolute cunt. A happy teardrop rolled down her cheek. She wanted to warm herself in that hope, if she could. In the audience, Guillem and Catherine's father sat beside each other. "Sire Paride, your daughter is amazing." "She is, isn't she?" I mean, pardon my arrogance, my liege. I am a very proud father, you see." "No pardon necessary, sire." "Has she found a sponsor yet?" "The Duke of Versailles once spoke to me about it, but we have not made any arrangements." "Then I must steal her away as soon as possible." "Sire?" "I'd like to be Catherine's primary sponsor, if that is all right with you." "Why, sire!" "And to further cement my status, that piano she is playing right now. It is hers. I've bought it for her." Francois's eyes widened in astonishment. That is... Francois gulped. "That is beyond generous, sire." Guillem smiled. "Well, I must make it hard for you to refuse me, you see. I took the opportunity of asking you outright. You see, the Duke might offer an extravagant piano plated in gold. In that case, I have no choice but to humbly concede. What? I am kidding. The Duke of Versailles is the worst miser you will ever meet. Seriously, that guy sucks. He's the worst. The men chuckled. Of course, I shall be paying for her musical tutoring as required, along with an ample stipend to accommodate your family. Ah, you don't have to look so surprised, Monsieur Paride. Mr. Paride. Mr. Anderson, your daughter is a star. There's an effervescence about her that enraptures the soul. There is no doubt in my mind that she will succeed. Thank you deeply, my liege. Please call me by my name, Messire. Let me remind you, this generosity isn't without charge. Her tutoring will be done at my house. I want to monitor her progress. Apart from that, I'd very much like Catherine to visit me and play from time to time. Music is one of my true passions. Her presence would benefit my mood tenfold. Of course, sire, that is a small price to pay for all your offers. On the contrary, Messire, you don't have to decide now. Kindly think about it. Thank you, my lord, Sire Guilhem. After the performance, Catherine and Rosa went to the Marquis's garden to play. Francois and Guilhem lingered on their table, sorting out the details of Catherine's further education. Emily Paride wandered about the crowd searching for a familiar face. She had arrived halfway through Catherine's performance, just in time to gush at her little sister's applause. Unfortunately, she couldn't find her father in the crowd. When she finally caught sight of the back of his head, she approached him hastily. "Father, there you are! I've been looking all over for you." Emily stopped as she saw the man her father was talking to. It was none other but the Marquis himself. She fixed her hair self-consciously and curtsied. "My lord, pardon my intrusion. I didn't realize." Guilhem smiled at her kindly. "You are free to intrude any time, my lady." Emily smiled. Emily smiled back, just as the rumor said the Marquis was easy on the eyes. "To whom do I owe the pleasure of your acquaintance?" "This is my eldest daughter, Emily. Pardon me for not introducing her sooner." "Charmed." Guilhem offered her a seat. Emily sat down across the man. "Well, it seems talent and good looks run in the family. You old dog." Francois rubbed his neck. "Dude, that's my daughter you're hitting on." "Yes, my daughters are my pride and joy. Thankfully, they both took after their mother." "Surely not, Monsieur Paride. The eyes are yours. Earnest and loving eyes." "Yeah, don't sell yourself short, Francois. You're a good-looking dude. You look pretty good." Emily snorted at such sappy words. Her father was clearly basking in the compliments. If this really was the famous Guilhem the rumors talked about, then he wasn't exactly much of a charmer, was he? She didn't know what all the fuss was about. The ladies in the house she worked for could not seem to stop talking about this man. Admittedly, there was something morbidly curious about the way he looked at people. Like he was always distracted, and could only say words that were expected of him, as if someone had scripted out every piece of dialogue he would ever say. And now, come to think of it, Emily began to wonder, my God, I speak the same way, as if everything I've said, and will ever say, has been written by someone else. And then she realized she was in a visual novel, and her head exploded. Anyway, I'm pleased to have finally met you, sire. I've heard a lot about you on my travels. All good things, I hope. Depends on the tabloid and the day of the week. Emily thought to herself and chuckled. You are a governess, I was told. Where do you work? With the Dimitri household, sire. Ah yes, I heard you were marrying into the family soon. Oh, father, I told you not to tell anybody yet. I didn't. But you know how people talk. Word travels fast. Pardon the comment, then, my lady. Please. Oh, excuse me. Your betrothed is a lucky man, I'm sure. The conversation endured through the afternoon. Small talk, musical composers, their little town. Catherine's musical background, Francois's students, Emily's work. Emily played with her napkin, offering droll opinions on the particularly droll topics. All throughout the exchange, Emily observed the infamous Marquis de Gaulle. This was him, the audacious, shameless flirt of the royal court and tabloids. According to rumors, he was able to bed both the widowed Countess of Devonshire and her daughter at the same time, and even had a tumultuous relationship with the Prince of Garnet. He didn't limit himself to royalty, or so the tabloids said. His latest fling was with an English poet, who they say almost killed him when he was caught with another man. Or woman. At this point, who knew what was real and what was a blatant lie made up by the newspapers? She had looked forward to meeting him. And here he was, finally. Talking about sampling the new bakery's creme brulee. She couldn't say she was disappointed exactly, but the Marquis was a depressingly normal man. Maybe even boring, Emily ventured. She watched as his gaze flickered across her hair and her nose before lazily trailing away. How infuriating. She wondered if he would suddenly say something coy, or insist to dance with her. Just something outrageous. Honestly, so she could shoot him down. This man whom everyone was interested in. That would be a small victory for reasonable women everywhere. But the Marquis was nothing but polite. He did not ogle. He did not touch unnecessarily. No audacious gestures or suggestive winks of the eye. He would not even look at her for more than 2 seconds. Maybe she was not pretty enough to flirt with. Emily bit her lip. She couldn't be thinking that. She shouldn't be thinking that, but there were also times that he would quietly look into her eyes when the conversation lulled. When the words spoken were without meaning, their eyes would converse further. And then he turned into a giant beam of light and exploded, killing everyone. To Emily, he'd started to look lonely underneath the facade of caprice. He seemed tired of all the gallivanting, the rumors, and the numerous flings. We were all a little lonely, aren't we? We are all a little lonely, aren't we? Perhaps even he. He invited the family over to his chateau and commented on how empty the building felt sometimes. Music was his guilty pleasure. It got him through the cold nights, he said with a sad grin. How he wouldn't mind a warm soul to touch. And before she could stop herself, Emily had begun to imagine his lips on her neck. See, this is how he gets you. This is how he's fucked everyone in the entire country. This is how. This is how he got a mother and daughter threesome. By not being a blatant slob about it. He lets them come to him. It's genius. On one of those cold nights. Oh, and we're back. Emily shook her head, trying to erase the thoughts in her mind. They were having a perfectly mundane conversation. She didn't know where those thoughts came from. Fortunately, her father didn't seem to notice. Music and loneliness struck a nerve with Francois Pride. He had immersed himself in his music tutoring, his students, and Catherine, ever since his wife had gotten sick. It had been 6 years, but sometimes the nights were cold. For Francois, the Marquis was speaking to his soul. He was a kindred spirit. He wasn't a pompous showboat like all the other royalty Catherine had played for. The Marquis even had a wine collection he wanted to show Francois. Such a down-to-earth, generous young man. Emily, your face is flushed. Are you all right? I'm fine. Just the sun, probably. This was not true, of course. She was super horny. The afternoon sun had already lost most of its heat. And she was, like, just super totes horny. Thankfully, Catherine provided a distraction. She ran towards their little huddle and flung her arms around her father's torso, chattering happily about gardens and butterflies. Yo, what happened to the Rose Girl? I thought she was, like, the main character. We have deviated. Oh, there she is. We have deviated, like, staggeringly. A young, ragged girl followed behind her. Emily wasn't sure how old the girl was. Her dirty blonde hair hid the left side of her face. You could just see faint traces of scars peeking through. A surge of motherly affection caught hold of her heart. "Hello there, young lady." The girl looked down at her toes, but she gave her a shy smile. "I see you've made a crown of flowers. You look very pretty." "Thank you, madame." Catherine gave it to me. "Sister, this is Rosa. She's really nice. She knows the name of all the flowers in Sir Gilly's garden." "Catherine, there you go again with your silly names." "Sister, help me convince Papa to let Rosa stay with us." "Catherine?" "Papa, please let her stay with us. She doesn't have anywhere to go." "Now, Catherine, that is not very nice. Rosa here is a girl." Well done, Francois. Astute observation. Yeah, that's very nice. That's... Wow, you're just gonna call that out, huh? I'm pivoting mid-bit. Like, you're just gonna assume. You're just gonna assume that she's a girl, huh? Alright. Anyway. She is not a kitten you can just pluck... Oh, that's where you're going with it. Never mind. She's not a kitten you can just pluck from the street and take home like you always do with stray animals. And then you kill them, and you're actually a serial killer. Maybe. Probably not. That's probably not a plot. Goodness knows we all have the stray cats of France living in our house. Goodness knows we have all the stray cats of France living in our house. Okay. Yes, I know she's not a kitten. I know she's a girl. I'm not an idiot, Dad. But shouldn't we take her home even more so? Francois sighed. Guillaume chuckled under his breath. He was clearly enjoying this exchange. Your daughter has some very unique views, Sir Paride. Well, Sir Gilly, what do you think? Huh? Guillaume's face lost his casual bystander look. You're a marquis. I'm sure my father would follow your orders, right? Shouldn't we take Rosa home? Guillaume's brows furrowed at being put on the spot so suddenly. He stole a glance at Francois, who was silently pleading him with his eyes not to humor the child. He cleared his throat. Well, I'm sure it's up to your father, since he owns the house. He will have to clothe and feed Rosa, you see. Yes, but I've got that all figured out. Ever since Sister moved to work, nobody minds the house anymore. And I have to wash the dishes every time. Ugh. Papa's so busy, and we always have enough food for the two of us. If Rosa stays, then I wouldn't be so lonely on my own. She'll wear Sister's old clothes, and will mind the house when both Sister and Father are away. She can wash the dishes sometimes, and I'll wash them sometimes. Guillaume and Francois shared a look. And besides, if it were up to me, I'd have people take one girl home in their house and give her food. What? I'd have people take one girl home in their house? And give her food? Girls don't even eat that much? Not sure about boys? What? She thought for a bit. I've gotten very confused. That line of dialogue broke my brain a little bit. I apologize. But I'm sure it's not too much that people can't take them home too. One time, I ate one whole plate of potatoes, and my stomach hurt. If Rosa was there, I wouldn't have eaten so much. She is rationalizing the fuck out of this. Maybe. Guillaume couldn't help but laugh. Francois rubbed his neck in embarrassment. I'm so sorry, sire. She's very headstrong. Father, I'm sure taking Rosa in wouldn't be much trouble for us financially, yes? My new work pays better. I'm sure we can adjust. Well, about that. Perhaps if Rosa works in my household, it wouldn't be much of a burden to your family, Sire Paride. Plus, I've always wanted to stick my penis in an empty eye socket. Come on, you know that's what he's thinking. Sir Gilly is great. I'm not saying it's a good thing to think, but I'm saying that this motherfucker's thinking it. You are truly a kind soul, sire. Not at all. I'm sure I need her help more than she needs mine. I need her help to get my... No. Isn't that right, Rosa? In that case, I would love to offer my home to Rosa. Although I am still worried that this is supposed to be more complicated, sire. What about her family or her friends? Oh yeah, no, you're a human being with, you know... We're talking about like you're a piece of furniture. Hey, maybe we should ask you what you want to do. Are we violating any laws, perhaps? I'm not even sure. As long as it is consensual, sire, the details can be smoothed out later. The girl was quiet the whole time. She was looking at her toes or at Catherine. Rosa, do you have any family, relatives, or friends you stay with? No, sire. My mother died a long time ago, but I still feel like she's with me, being an absolute bitch cunt in my head at like every turn. But she guides me always. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. That's basically the same thing. So please, don't be compelled to mind me. No, don't go back to the streets, Rosa. It's September. It's going to be really cold soon. Sir Gilly will even give you work. Stay with us. I thought I heard something. Alright, apparently not. I thought I heard somebody like knock on the door or something. Alright, where were we? But Catherine. Francois sighed in surrender. Alright, she can stay for the night. Papa! She asked for tonight, then we'll see if she wants to stay for longer. Catherine, you cannot hold people in their place just because you want them there, do you understand? If Rosa wants to leave, she may leave. You cannot keep her like an object. Yeah, Catherine. You misogynist bitch. Golem cleared his throat. That is sound advice, Sire Pride. Yes, Papa, I understand. Rosa, please make yourself comfortable in our home. Thank you. Papa is the best! Catherine turned to Golem again. Sir Gilly, don't you think if everyone with a house takes one person home, nobody would freeze in winter? You should make it into a law. They'll obey you because you're a marquis. And because you're tall. Oh, so people obey my orders because I am tall. What a compliment. Well, you're taller than my papa, at least. He'll never be a marquis. 'Cause he's so short. Francois pulled on his daughter's ear with embarrassment. Catherine, mind your manners. I am so sorry, sire. Golem shook his head, his eyes trailing over the Pride family. You guys are all super weird. Emily watched him curiously. That same sadness once again surfaced for the briefest moment. You have a lovely family, sire. I am quite jealous. You make me want to settle down myself. Someday. He chuckled. Maybe. Emily's heart skipped a beat. Did he just look at her when he said that? She couldn't be sure. Catherine is perfect the way she is. It is one of the reasons why I am very invested in her. Golem knelt down so that he was eye to eye with Catherine. He patted her head. You are a very intelligent and kind-hearted girl, Catherine. You are a star. Mon étoile. Someday, I know you will change the world. At least I'd like to see you try. Mother? That happened suddenly. Help me! My chest. I can't breathe. No. Catherine! What the fuck happened? Chapter 2, La Piqûre. Okay, but hold on. We're saving. Let's save. Okay. We may actually be getting into, like, the creepier parts of this. Because apparently there is horror stuff. And her stabbing her own eye out and having a ghost mom that talks to her and orders her around is kind of horror-y. But I've been doing this for an hour already. I think that's where I'm gonna end this episode. So, yeah, I saved. So yeah, that was Cupid. This has been Frightmares After Hours. I guess I'm kind of sort of doing YouTube exclusive stuff now. If I do choose to put this up on YouTube, which I might, just because it's so convenient, because I've already got a channel and shit. And honestly, like, there wasn't anything with the whole mature filter thing. I was expecting more sex and maybe even nudity, which is the whole reason I played this on this concept. But there really wasn't. So at the very least, this episode I should be able to upload just fine. But yeah, no, I don't know how often I'm gonna do these. But it is cool. It's interesting getting back into recording as opposed to live streaming. It's kind of interesting, kind of cool. This is the first time I've recorded anything with OBS too, so we'll see if it's any good. If it came out all right. Hell, no one may ever see this if it's just a shit show. But who knows? Anyway, that'll do it for me. For Cupid, a visual novel. For now, I'll be back later with more, probably, maybe, who knows. All right, bye.